Alright, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Nick. As always, you guys can call me Touch Ninja, and today I have some more Pokemon Go Battle League videos for you guys. So this is late Season 3, the current season Master League Premier. This is my team, as you can see on the left. Metagross, Gyarados, as well as Garchomp. The Garchomp is running not the typical move of Sand Tomb, because I'll get to that a little bit later. So this is a bad matchup. The opponent has a Swampert, so I decided to insta swap into my Gyarados, which acts as my safe swap, even though your safe swap should be in the third position, just because it's faster to get to. I'm weird. And they respond in kind with a Togekiss. So I think they were probably assuming that this Gyarados would have Dragon Breath, which would be very favorable to them because as a fairy type, the Dragon Breaths would be doing little to no damage. But luckily I did have Waterfall on my Gyarados with the Community Day Aqua Tail, so I'm able to not only dish out a lot of damage with my fast move, the Aqua Tail charge moves are also substantial. They use a shield, and I decide to use a shield in kind, and then I farm all the way down for the rest of its health. And now we have what we like to call in the business switch advantage. So switch advantage means basically they have to show what their next Pokemon is first, and then I can build my strategy around that. To maintain switch advantage, I just can't swap my Pokemon out just because that would reset my timer. So I allow him to knock out and farm down the rest of my Gyarados with his Metagross. I bring out my Metagross right now because he is low on health, so even my Meteor Mashes would do a substantial amount of damage. I don't need to build up all the way to Earthquake, and he knows that. So he throws down Earthquake, hoping that I would let it go, and then swaps over to his Swampert. And we're still kind of in a tricky situation right here because he still has an extra shield. I thought I would be in a better situation because I thought this Swampert would have Sludge Wave, because most Swamperts at this level have Sludge Wave, so they have more play against Gyarados as well as Dragonites. But because he has Earthquake, which does a whole lot of damage to my Garchomp, I actually stop attacking here, I think, because the reason why I stop attacking is because I don't want his Metagross to get any extra attacks in to my Garchomp. So ideally, I want to either knock him out at the exact same time or allow him. Yeah, basically, I wanted to knock each other out at the exact same time. That was my general strategy right there. So I throw down my Meteor Mash, and right now it's just a race to his next. He has to hit an Earthquake in order to KO me, and all I need to do is hit a Meteor Mash, just because even though it is resisted, it does enough damage to knock him out. So good game. With Go Battle League, really the premise is just thinking ahead, especially in this league. So in this league, you always have to assume that your opponent is going to have a Metagross somewhere in their lineup. So you kind of just have to plan your strategies around that. So good game. We'll move on to game 2. I'm hoping to show you. This is my first time rewatching this footage, so I'm hoping to show you guys a whole bunch of different leads. I think I lose the leads a couple times in this set, which is why I decided to show it to you guys. I think the set right after this, I went like 5-0, but it wasn't that entertaining just because I won lead every single time. So, yeah. Anyway, so Metagross into Magnezone also. So this is not a good situation because the Magnezone resists all my Meteor Mash, and it takes me so long to get to Earthquakes, and he's able to get to his Wild Charge super fast. So how I play this out is I build to an Earthquake, I throw a Meteor Mash, I expect the opponent to respect that it possibly could be an Earthquake, so they use a shield. And what I'm expecting now is I'm expecting him to throw down 2 Wild Charges and to swap out. That's usually what the case is with. Oh, he swaps out now, actually. Okay. So I throw out my Meteor Mash, which even though is resisted, does a substantial amount of damage to Gyarados. Meteor Mash is such an amazing attack, in not only in PvP but as well as PvE. It is a community attack, so you can only get it in December basically, or when the last time There was a community day for Beldum, which was a while ago. So they threw down a crunch right there, which would have KO'd, which is why I decided to commit my shield right here. I expect this to be shielded though, because oh, he lets it go. Okay, so he lets it go. I was expecting him to shield and then farm down, but that's cool. Oh, it's a Dragonite, which is real bad. So my team, how it's designed, it's really designed to try to find a lot of people at this rank use Magnet Zones in the back, which is why I have a Garchomp. And my team is really weak against Dragonites in the back, just because, especially if they have shields. Right now, I'm thinking because the Dragonite has energy, it's a bad situation because he'll get my Garchomp really low, and then he can just basically, even though, yeah, it's a bad situation all around. So I swap. This was actually my very first time using Outrage on my Gyarados, so I wasn't 100% sure how long it would take to get to the Outrage, and as you can see, it takes way too long. The Outrage is really only good against when you're facing Garchomps, just because the mud shots do little to no damage. But this is how I'm able to win this match right here. He makes a mistake by swapping back into his Magnet Zone because he got greedy. He thought he would farm down the rest of my Gyarados and then have energy to spare. But by him swapping in his Magnet Zone here, he basically this was the only way I was going to win this matchup, basically, is if he threw it. So right now, the Wild Charges are triple resisted by my Garchomp because I'm ground as well as Dragon typing. The only thing he can do is throw down Mirror Shots, and Mirror Shots generally aren't a very good move. He actually probably could have won this matchup if he would have Flash Cannon, but Flash Cannon is usually not the move that you want. And my strategy here is I can't throw any energy. I basically have to farm down the rest of the way. And as soon as he swaps in his Dragonite, I'm able to throw down my Outrage and basically knock it out. So this is an example of a match that I shouldn't have won, but just based on how my opponent played it, he didn't expect me to have a Garchomp in the back, just because he probably would have expected to see it as a response to his Magnet Zone, but I can't swap immediately at the beginning to a Garchomp because then he just swaps into a Dragonite, and yeah, it's never a winning strategy to swap into the hard counter of your opponent if you lose lead, because most likely they have a response for it, and that's an example of how to throw a match, basically. So game 2, which I should have won, I actually took a collective pause there because I couldn't believe I won that match. So next match versus a Haxorus. So this once again is a bad lead, just because the Haxorus has access to Night Slash, which does super effective damage against my Metagross. So probably the only thing I can do here is throw the Meteor Mash, which most likely is going to get shielded because I'm almost positive it would KO if it landed. And the only thing I could possibly do right now, I can't swap into my Garchomp because he has access to Dragon Claw, which he gets there faster. And the waterfalls are resisted against. This is the case where it would have been better if I had Dragon Breath on my Gyarados, but it's a give and take situation. So the bullet punches did do a lot of damage over time, as you can see. He has a little bit of health left. So I thought what I would do here is I would most likely block the first Dragon Claw and try to throw down an Outrage to knock him out. This is my first time rewatching this footage, so I'm expecting him to just let it go so he can maintain switch advantage. Oh, he swaps out. So by him swapping out right now, that's not a good strategy, because if I had like a hard counter to his Metagross, I could switch out immediately. But I don't know. He decided to swap out. In my opinion, it's probably a misplay, especially since I'm going to block here, because even though the Meteor Mash is resisted, it would knock me out. So now I can just kind of do my thing with the Aqua Tail. He most likely will let this go just so he can maintain a shield advantage. And my Gyarados isn't really much. It's still a decent threat. It has not a whole lot of health left, but he has to basically wager what he has left on his team. So he brings back his Haxorus, which will allow him to knock out my Gyarados right here. I am going to bring in my Garchomp. He won't be able to get to another charge attack before... Mudshot's a terrible move, like for doing damage, but it's really good for building energy quickly, but he's still low enough that I'm able to farm him down before he gets to his Dragon Claw attack. And here, I'm still in a tricky situation. If he has Outrage, this match is over. He wins. But most likely... if I do win this match, he's not going to have it. So he was probably expecting me to bait with my first move, which would have been a Sand Tomb. But because I don't have Sand Tomb, I really have no choice but to go for Outrages. He has to block this one. And as of right now, he needs to get to two... No, he needs to get to 3 Body Slams. He needs to throw down 3 Body Slams, and I need to build to 1 Outrage. And basically, whoever gets there first is going to win this match. So there's the first Body Slam. He's going to get to another one. And it's just a matter if he's going to get to a third one in time before I get to my Outrage, which probably is not going to happen. It gets close, but yeah. Yeah, it's just... I was just lucky he didn't have a hard counter to my Garchomp. Most people use Snorlax as like a safe swap. Kind of like how I use my Gyarados as a safe swap. But if he had like a Togekiss in the back, then it would have been real bad for me. But anyways, he didn't, and we won. So moving on to the next match. I'm doing like a sigh of relief here because I was really worried that he's gonna get to that third Body Slam, but luckily he didn't. So moving on to the next match up, I'm hoping that we get like a mirror match with a Metagross. That way I can kind of explain how I go through the process of my strategy for it, especially when, let's see here. Okay, so we do have a Metagross, and he has... Okay, so he does have 100% IV one. So this places me at a disadvantage because his Pokemon has a higher CP. As you can see, as my IVs would indicate, I have a 98, which is good, but it's not ideal in this situation because in a CMP tie, which is called a charge move priority, he has the advantage. So if we both hit the exact same attacks with the exact same Pokemon at the same time, he gets to go first, basically. So it's a huge disadvantage, advantage for him. I'm expecting him to go all the way, and knowing for a fact that I wasn't going to win CMP, I was just going to let this go, expecting it to be a Meteor Mash. But it ends up, I think it ends up being, it ends up being an Earthquake. So I don't know. In most cases, what the Metagrosses do is they both build up to Earthquakes, but they throw Meteor Mashes, and then in the final case, then they throw, and then with the final charge move, they then throw the Earthquake. My plan would have been there was to try to swap out to my Gyarados as he threw the Earthquake, but obviously he threw the Earthquake and I didn't expect it to happen, and it just got absolutely destroyed. So nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do there. And this is really bad. This is a really bad situation for me because he swapped out exactly as I threw my Aqua Tail, which is obviously resisted. It was a really good swap, actually. So if he would have swapped out earlier, what I would have done is I would have just built up to an Outrage. But now, because I threw my energy, there's no way I have enough time to build up an Outrage. So I just throw this Aqua Tail now just to do any sort of damage I can. But there's really nothing I can do here because he has a shield. The only thing I can do to knock out this Dragonite is to Outrage him. He could easily just block and farm me all the way down, but he has 3 Pokemon left. He could actually do a 3 Pokemon flex on me if he really wanted to, but I think he actually lets this go. He lets this go for some reason, but in either case, he could have won the match. But yeah, it was a good swap out on the Aqua Tail, but I think because I let the Metagross fall at the beginning, that's probably what sealed my fate there. So good game by my opponent, and then we move into this is the 5th and final match in the set. So there are 5 sets. There are 5 matches in each sets, and we're playing against Joe Color. And it looks like he's either from the UK or he's Canadian because he spells color with a U. So we have Metagross into a Mamoswine. So this is a positive matchup for me. My only positive matchup in this entire set. Because I can just, if we go to a 2-shield situation, I can just whittle him down because my bullet punches are doing super effective damage, as well as his powder stones are doing ineffective damage. I throw Meteor Mash, most likely is going to be blocked. Mamoswines do have access to Bulldoze, which I do need to respect. He does have. In most cases, opponents actually fake first with the Avalanche, but he went straight forward, expecting me to just let it through for some reason. So I need to avoid, my Garchomp needs to completely avoid the Metagross, the Mamoswine altogether. I was thinking of staying in, but I thought to myself, I need to avoid the Mamoswine against my Garchomp. And I was thinking that he probably thought that I was going to bait here with the Scantomb. So I'm pretty sure he lets us go. Like I said earlier, most Garchomps run Sand Tomb just for bait potential, but the way my team is designed is because you have to always expect there's a Metagross in the back. I want to be able to one-shot the Metagross in a 0-shield situation, which is why I run Earthquake. If I were to run a Garchomp as my lead, I probably would run Sand Tomb, just because you have more leeway when shields are up, but because I anticipate no shields being available end game, I run Earthquake. So I was confused for the reason why he brought that Dragonite into the match, because it didn't make sense to me, because he knew I had a Metagross. So I was expecting him to throw down like a crazy move, either an Outrage or Draco Meteor, which would have KO'd my Metagross, and I called it correctly. He threw down an Outrage. And then he quits. And we go 4-1, which is not bad. If you could go 4-1 every single time and go Battle League, you'd be the best player in the world, which I'm not. I'm an average battler, above average battler, but I still thoroughly enjoy this game. You get a nice shot at my desk down there. I love Go Battle League. I love Pokemon Go. And I thought I would just share this video with you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, as always, thumbs up are greatly appreciated. And I will see you guys for the next one. All right. As always, have a fantastic day.